turnover can be a big problem in well, it can be a big problem in any business, but particularly in restaurants. And one of the ways that we focused on minimizing turnover in our kitchen is by including the staff in all the fun activities that we're doing, whether it was a field trip to a farm, teaching them how to use new product. We actually got them involved in a lot of the decision-making process, and by doing that, by engaging that staff person in what we were doing and even in menu development, they feel like they have ownership, they feel like they own a piece of it, and they want to be more involved. And that is one major way that we've been able to hang on to our staff for quite a few years. Typical turnover in the restaurant business is 2 to 4 years. If you have a good person and they're wanting to learn before they move on, usually a person like that will stay with you for 2 to 4 years in this type business. And it's even more common for people to stay 6 months, 8 months, and then take off. Just depends on the business. But what we've found is that when you engage them in those processes, in those creations, and actually tapping into their creativity and making them feel like they own part of it, they tend to be more interested and want to stay and work long term. A couple of the benefits of doing what we did, of engaging your staff in the creative process, is that in the actual business and in the corporate structure of what we were doing, it's a very positive reflection on the management staff of the culinary team, because we were keeping turnover at a minimum, and it costs a lot of money to retrain staff.
As all good business people try to minimize your weaknesses and capitalize on your strengths. And with our Semino team, we do that. We find a fit for somebody who's really good at this. That's what they do. If they're not so good at the other thing, that's fine, because there's someone else who fills that in. So they're not treated like employee. And I've always said, fair is not equal. And people get that right away at our place, that staff are treated differently because they bring different things to the table at different times. It's a very interesting managerial concept, but it doesn't mean everybody's treated exactly the same, because people aren't the same. And it works for us. People have a lot of flexibility in their job, but they give a lot to the experience.
If you can't fit in that mix, it's like a cancer. It causes people to not be happy with their work. And if there's too much drama, but that person seems to not fit in as a family. And that's unfortunate to say, but we have a really tight crew that I'm very happy to have, and we'll do whatever it takes to make sure we stay as a family. And in the back of the house is somewhat different. Their priorities are different, their skill level is different, where they want to go long term is different. And what I'm finding, as I mentioned before, as far as getting experience in different types of restaurants, is they do want a upscale casual experience. They do want the fast food experience. They do want the catering experience. So they might just be a step on that path to what they ultimately want to decide what they'd like to do for the rest of their life. So the back of the house does move a little quicker than the front of the house, unfortunately, but we try to keep them as long as we can, train them, make them, they're obviously part of our family, but they have to continually feel like they're learning something, that they are a valued member of the team, and that they're respected and they have a home.
If for whatever reason that their creativity, support their creativity, and if they cannot, if there's a point where they just can't seem to get inspired or do any of things, give them some ideas, work with them. Maybe it's hands-on hands, maybe it's books, maybe it's someone that you can give them to talk to, maybe it's a workshop, maybe it's just working with them in the kitchen. Anything to inspire them to make their work more productive. And if there's a time that you ever need to, there's always behavior that you need to discipline or whatever, always wedge a negative between two positive, because that person always has some really, really good points, and you need to focus on those and then discuss the issues that you may have. And then at the end, you know what, there's always that positive note to inspire them to do better and to look forward to more things to come. So you have that employee hired. He fits all your needs. So we're going to schedule him accordingly. We want him or she to be effective in his job role. His skill levels, we want to schedule to those. We want to ensure that employee is happy with us, and we are happy with him or she. We support their ideas, and if they need help or suggestions with their ideas, then be there for them.